So here's a spare engine. The crack is actually on the timing case. So I've got a new one with a billet cover. And we're gonna begin tearing the engine down. And I'm gonna tear it down to nothing and make sure I get everything that's needed for it. And slowly start to build it back up. The main part I'm working on, or waiting on, is head studs right now. And those are on back order. But we can at least get this torn down and get the head machined, get the block machined if need to be, and keep on going from there. So we're gonna just get going. I wrote down my list of everything I got to do and check. It's just nothing to it but to do it. Alright, I don't want to get the camera any more greasy than I just did doing that. So you saw I took the fuel shutoff solenoid off. It didn't have the pin in it, and the whole thing exploded when I pulled the bracket off, or the top part off. I just pulled the 2 bottom screws out, and that's how much... Dude, no wonder the guy said this thing leaked everything. It's missing the bolt up here. This is not a good bolt to use. This is like the factory tamper-proof bolt that they just kind of barely rimbled out just enough to get a flat head on. But even then, it's fighting me right now. Oh man, this delivery valve port for number 5 is filthy. That's got a lot of oxidation on it. So stuff just keeps falling out of this. So it does not have the Max Travel kit on it. And when they went to tune the pump, they just destroyed this cover because they couldn't get a Dremel back here, it looks like. So instead, this probably took more time than just taking this out of the truck and doing it right. But yeah, look at all this diesel that's just soaked on the bottom of this. Oh man. So I'm gonna kind of just do what they did, kind of just set it on, because I just don't want anything big to fall down inside the pump. These pumps are expensive, and if this is the factory one that came on this engine, it should be a 215 horse injection pump, which is extremely exciting because that means that out of the gate I get all the extra power. Supposedly this has 025 delivery valves. That should add a lot of power, and this head's supposed to have 75 horse injectors. Actually it does. The guy confirmed he did the injectors, so he knows there's 75. His buddy that owned the truck before him supposedly did the delivery valves. So this project is kind of a he said, she said. I don't know what's in it, just like my truck. I have no idea what's been done to my truck. But unlike my truck, we're gonna tear this one apart, so we're gonna find out. We're gonna get this thing down to absolutely nothing so that I know exactly what's in it and we can get everything done exactly how I want it. That way, when it's time, we just pull my engine out and slap this one in, and then we could, I'm literally gonna do everything I'm doing to this to my engine so that I have a spare. My dad has a 12 valve, my buddy has a 12 valve, I got a couple buddies with 12 valves. So if anyone ever needs a spare 5.9, I've got them covered for the right price. Or when I decide to step up my power, I already have a block with all the basics done to it, therefore it's not as painful when I go to buy all the stuff. The engine I turned over and it rotated, which is awesome because I haven't checked that yet. This still has gasket material, that ain't a big deal. The lash on the valves, I mean, I'm not a master mechanic, so I honestly have no idea by feel, but I don't think it should wiggle as much as it does. This is gonna be quick. I got 8% battery. But valve covers, obviously off. You knew that earlier. Injector lines, valve covers, injectors, return lines, fuel filter, return line. I'm at return bolts for those. Gonna get these all cleaned up. Use a paint marker, and luckily there's 6, and the nut has 6 sides on it. So mark each one in its matching cylinder. Put the return line bolts back in their correct order, and then throw these all in a baggie so that nothing gets inside the injector tips or nozzles or the top, nothing. I don't want these contaminated. Got the table cleaned up a little bit, enough to where I could lay out everything I need to lay out in order. I got this in the middle of the shop, or the middle of the back room, trash right by me. Because my bike's no longer here, I'm able to push this out, and I just kind of cleaned up. Moved the transmission jack, moved that oil pan, all the goodies. So it's time to get working. Timing cover off. I was gonna take the pump off, but I don't have the gear puller. I gotta borrow it from Lance, but you can see it's cracked here. Well, that guy claimed he did the KDP, but the KDP is missing. But that's where it ejects. This is exciting. No more fuel pump. No more vacuum pumps and power steering reservoir, which that's what that big old hole's for. All of this, I mean, there's a lot of loose hardware, so either whoever worked on this didn't know what to do or didn't do anything right, and that's why this leaked everything, or the kid I bought it from who pulled it out of the truck started messing with it and possibly realized that this might not be a good engine to put in his truck, because he said he had another truck he was thinking about putting it in.